Hi, my name is Danny, and today I'm going to be giving you a brief introduction to Autodesk Inventor Professional 2014 and some basic overview of sketching features. So you're going to want to get the software downloaded, and if you haven't done so yet, you may need to reference another video or set of instructions for that. But once you have the software downloaded, you're just going to want to go over to the orange box that has Autodesk Inventor Professional 2014 and double left click that to open it up. And you're going to see this loading screen as the software starts to boot up. And you just have to let that give it a second. And then you're going to see this welcome screen when you open up the software. There's three columns. Learn and extend, you can kind of ignore. Learn has some videos and tutorials that if you have some extra time and you just want to practice or play around with the software, those may be of interest to you, but they're in no way necessary. And then over in Extend, there's some information about Autodesk Exchange and Autodesk 360, which you can also ignore for now. But over in the Work column, you're going to find options to create a new file, open a file that had previously been worked on, and projects. And then you're also going to get this list of recent files that have been opened and worked on your computer. So if you want to go back to something, you can just pick it out from there, and you see it gives you these nice preview images so you know exactly what you're opening. Now the thing about this is you can find all of these things elsewhere in the program, which I'll show you. So you can go down here and you can unclick display at startup if you don't want to see this every time the software opens, but if you want to have it open, that's fine. You can leave it like that and just close out of it whenever you need to. So this is what Autodesk Inventor Professional is going to look like when you open it up. Again, you can see here there's the new open and projects options, and they actually have some of those options from the learn column as well right here. If you pull down this I button, it's much like a software like Word. You pull down, you have these options like open a new file, open a previous one. There's save, export, which I'll go back to those in a second. And again, you have a list of recently worked on files that you can pick from. And if you just hover over those with your mouse, they'll give you that preview image. So what we're going to do, we're going to go open up a new file. You can just left click that once and you're going to get this create new file window. Over on your left, you'll see you have these different templates. There's English and metric. For English, your units are going to be inches, which you can see right here. And if you were to click metric, you'd see that the units are millimeters. But we're really going to stay in the English template. You can also type in a different unit once you're in the sketch, which you can ignore that for now. But you're not set in only using inches, if that makes sense. So first you have parts, which are the individual pieces of like one object. So say you have a pencil. The different parts of a pencil are going to be the lead inside, the wooden, I guess, pencil part of it, the little metal bit that holds the eraser to the wooden part, and then there's the eraser. So those are all different parts. And you have the option to create a part from sheet metal or just the standard. Sheet metal is something kind of different. Again, you can just ignore that for now. We're going to kind of just stick with standard. And then you have assembly. So assembly is where, say you designed all those 4 different parts for a pencil and you wanted to show someone and make it look like a real pencil and put all those parts together. That's what you're going to do in assembly. And again, you kind of just want to go with the standard. And then there's drawing and presentation, which we can come back to, but you don't really need those right now. So we're going to go ahead and open up a standard part. What you can do is you can left click that twice, or you can click it once and then press create down here. And it's going to load at some point. Alright, so this is the screen that's going to come up anytime you open up a new part. So I've chosen this nice blue background, but what you can do if you don't like that background, if you want a different color, or say you have a sketch that you would like to have as your background so that you can reference it while you create your design, you can go up to the ribbon just like I just did and go over to Tools right here. And then you're going to want to click Application Options, and that's in the Options box here. And you can just go ahead and click that once. And then you want to go to this Colors tab and just click that. And this is where I chose the sky color from, as you can see, and there's all of these options. I like sky because it makes it easy to kind of see what I'm working on. So let's say you had a background image that you wanted to create. You want to go to this background box and pull down that bar like I just did and select background image. And you can go search for a file. You're going to want to have a scanned image uploaded onto your desktop or on your computer somewhere for you to find so that you can upload it. So let's just pick one of these skies. Why not a sunset? And then you're going to want to go down here and just press apply. And now I have this nice sunset in the background. You can put a picture of your family if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and stay with the one color. So I'm going to go right back to that and press apply again, and then I'm just going to press close. So that's how you change the background. I'm going to go back up to this ribbon and go back to 3D model and go over a few more things before we start sketching. So to your left here, you're going to see your browser. This is going to give you kind of the history in a way of what you've done to your sketch so far. I'm actually going to go ahead and open up another file that's already been worked on so you can see what that looks like. So as you can see, there's all of these different things that I've done to this sketch, excuse me, to get it to where it is now. So, and also you're going to have this tab down here. You can open up a bunch of different sketches, parts and assemblies at once, so you can kind of go back and forth if you need to do that, or if you just want to work on different things at once. So I'm going to go back here. You're also going to find this origin folder, and if you left click right next to it, it's going to give you these options. It's going to show you where these planes are. Obviously this one kind of shows up as a square, and that's only a line because of the perspective we're currently at. And if we go over here, there's this cool cube that kind of gives you a reference of where you are. So let's say I want to go to the top view now. Now if I go over, just a minute ago that was the square, and now that is, and those kind of correlate with the different plane that you're on. And if you want to go to an isometric view, you can just press home. So you also have all of these options. This is kind of a cool mouse that kind of helps you look at your sketch from different perspectives. So you can pick orbit. This isn't really going to be helpful while you have nothing on the screen. So let me pull up something really quick. So, excuse me. So you're going to want to start by creating a 2D sketch. As you can see, there's these two options. If you just left click this arrow here, it's going to pull these down. You want to make sure it's pressed on 2D. And as you can see, the different planes come up. And if you look to your left in the browser, it's going to highlight what plane you're selecting. And these sides correlate with this cube right over here. So this is going to be the front, this is going to be the top, and the right and left sides. So we're going to go back. I'm going to show you this again now that you have something to look at. And you can orbit this. So what that's going to do is kind of twist and turn this around. The computer's lagging a little bit, so it's not as smooth of an orbit as I would like. But you kind of get the gist, I think. You can zoom, rewind, so that's going to take you back. And all of these different options that you can play around with. Honestly, I don't use this all that much, but you can certainly use it if you'd like to. And then I'm just going to left click this little X in the corner to get rid of that. So next you have this little mouse, and also what you'll notice is for any feature in this program, if you just hover your mouse over it, so if you just put your mouse on top of it but don't click anything, these little help windows are going to show up and give you a quick description. And then also it says press F1 for more help. And what you're going to do if you press F1 if it wants to do it. Hold on a second. There we go. So it's going to open up this help page, which has a ton of information. Depending on what you were hovered over, it's going to pull up information based on that feature. So as you can see, it's giving me information about the zoom and the pan and rotating and all of those things in that little sidebar we were just looking at. So there's information on all of these different topics that if you're confused about something, feel free to visit this site. It's really helpful. But I'm just going to go ahead and exit out of there. And then you can also get to that site and just get to the general home page by clicking this little question thing right here. So you can just go ahead and click that, and it's going to open up the main page, and you can kind of click a topic. So that's located in your browser as well. So what happens, let's say I was going up here and oops, I accidentally clicked away my browser. I don't know where it is. How am I going to get it back? I need that. So how you do that is you go up to the ribbon and press View, and you want to go over to this Windows box and press User Interface and just left click that. And you're going to want to recheck Browser, and then it magically reappears and everything is there again for you. And then we're just going to go back to 3D Model and create a 2D sketch so that we can start sketching a little bit. You can kind of pick whatever plane you want. As of right now, since we're not designing anything specific, it doesn't really matter, but I kind of like the front view. So as you can see, the cube rotated to show me how I'm viewing it, and then you also have this little, I guess, icon thing down here that shows you what these axes are. So the first thing I'm going to show you are all of the things in the draw box. These first 6 are kind of self-explanatory, but we'll go through them. So there's a line. You just click, left click once, drag over, left click again. And then it's going to keep making lines. And once you're done with that, you can either press Escape or you can, I'm going to right click. And all of these options are going to come up, and you just want to press OK. And then that'll go away. So then we have circle, and you'll notice these 5, all of the mix-up line, have these options to pull them down. And if you do that, there's different ways of making a circle, an arc, a rectangle, etc. And I'm not going to go through each one. They're pretty easy once you look at them. Again, if you just hover over, it's going to show you exactly how you make that shape using that feature. So you have circle, arc, rectangle, slot, which is kind of an oval. It can be kind of curved as well. And then you can do a spline, which is a curve. I don't use this a lot, and you probably won't use this a lot, because what's difficult about spline is it creates a curve based on these control points. And when you design something, it's really hard to know where those control points should be. So I usually stick with using arcs and circles for what someone may use a spline for. Then the next option you have is an equation curve, and I'm going to hover over this. I'm going to get rid of that. I just pressed Escape. I'm just going to hover over that so it shows me, and you can just go in, as you can see, and create a curve based on an equation that you have or have found or were given for a specific curve on a design. You can also create an ellipse, which I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So that's always fun. And then there you can make a point. So let's say you really need kind of a reference point at, let's just hover over. You want it at maybe 2 centimeters to the right and 3 inches up. Why you would have that in those units, I don't know, but just for the sake of showing you. So I'm just kind of hovering this point around, and then what you can do is you can press Tab, and you can just go ahead and type in 2 centimeters, and then press, it converts it for you since we're working in the English units. And then I can just type in 3 for this because it automatically assumes if I don't attach the units that it's inches. And I went ahead and pressed enter. Okay, there it is. I had to zoom out a little bit. And there's a reference point for you. So if you're drawing, say, a line and you want it to go from the origin up to this point, it's going to help you get that exact point, exactly how you want it to. So we also have fillet, which is something I usually use after I finish the sketch, but you can also use it now. If you have a sharp corner, as you can see in that picture, you can select them and it will create a smooth edge. Polygon's really easy. You just type in the number of sides you want. Maybe I want to make a triangle. I just press here and I drag out and I have my triangle. And I just press done. Then you can add text. That's pretty self-explanatory as well. All right, and then next we have this project geometry, which I'm not going to go too far into now since this is more of a basic overview. But let's say I wanted to use the x-axis in my sketch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press project geometry, and I'm going to go over here and figure out, okay, that's the axis I want. And then I'm just going to press that, and then I'm going to escape out so that I'm no longer in the project geometry feature. And as you can see, this is now highlighted. And let's say I just want to use this as a reference, but I don't want it in my actual sketch. You can right click and then just press construction. It's become this red dotted line, and that means that it's not actually going to be a part of the sketch, but you can still use it for points and ends of lines and things like that, and using for symmetry or something. What you could also have done was left clicked the line and then come over and clicked this. Then I'm going to escape out again and show you the different constraints. So let's say with this line, as you can see, I can kind of just drag this wherever I want. It's not constrained at all. If that's the perfect line and that's how I want it, what I can do is I'm going to dimension this right here. And I'm going to say that I want the horizontal length of this line to be 5 inches. I'm just going to type in 5 and press enter. And then let's say I'm going to escape out of that as well because I'm done dimensioning. What I can do is say you want this to be horizontal, but you just drew the line out. What you can do is you can go right here. This is the horizontal constraint. I'm going to press that, and then I'm going to press my line. It's going to make it a perfectly horizontal line for me. So those are the different constraints you can do to help make your sketch exactly how you want it. So we have the coincident constraint, which is where 2 points or line kind of meet. There is the collinear, which means that 2 lines or 2 points or something fall on the same line. There is a concentric constraint, so say you have 2 circles within each other and you want them to have the same center point, that's the one you're going to use. The fixed points and curves, pretty self-explanatory. There's a parallel, you have 2 lines, you want to be parallel, perpendicular, run over horizontal, and there's the same thing for vertical. And then there's tangent. So let's say you're making an oval and you have lines coming from it, or as you can see in this video, you just want one edge of your sketch to be tangent to that line. It's going to go ahead and do that for you. Then there's smooth and symmetric, which you're going to need some sort of line that you want it to be symmetric over, so that may be where making one of the axes a construction line will come in handy. And then also if you want to make in here you have the circumference of circles being the same, or the diameter, sorry, or if you have lines that you want to be the same or anything like that, you can go ahead and do that there. Next we have the pattern option, which just help you create a pattern without having to replicate each aspect of it over and over again. You can do that in a rectangular pattern or a circular. And then you can also mirror things over lines, points, and axes. Then we have this modify box. Most of these, again, are kind of self-explanatory. You can move, copy, you can rotate. I find trim to be very, very useful. So let's say I wanted these to be two sides of something, but I want to trim this little top off. I'm hovering over it right now, and it's showing me through the dotted line what it's going to trim off, and then I'm just going to left click, and as you can see, it just trims that little edge off. So I'm going to go ahead and press escape and get out of there. And so extend, let's say I wanted to extend this line out. Again, I'm hovering over this line. I have not clicked anything yet. And it's going to extend that out when I click, which I just did. And there you go. That's where that is. And that'll extend. Then I can just press escape. Split is kind of the same deal. I can just split a line. Scale, stretch, and offset's really cool. So I'm going to select that by left clicking once. And then let's say I want to offset this because I want an outer triangle as well. I can just do that, and you can drag it to where you want. And you can always dimension that later to be exactly the distance between that you want. So let's just randomly and arbitrarily put that there. And then I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to dimension this. So let's say I wanted that distance to be 1 inch. I'm going to type in 1 and press enter, and there you go. So there's some other things over there that we're just going to ignore for now. Those are kind of the basics of sketching. You can go ahead and finish your sketch, and zoom out and see what it looks like. You can come over here, and this is where you have the option to save and export it. You can export it as a CAD format, maybe if you want to 3D print it, or as an image. You can also print down here if you wanted to show someone your sketch. And you have a few other options, but those are kind of the basics. I hope this overview was helpful to you, and I hope you get to play around with sketching a little bit, and thank you for watching.